All right, what do you think about this idea here that Oracle is the next Nvidia? I think there's one important difference between the two companies. Nvidia has a moat where Oracle actually benefits from the overflow of some of the hyperscalers. So it seems like they're actually coming at two different sides of this. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, you can see where they're similar, right? These are legacy tech names that are involved in AI. These are companies that have been around for a long time, that have real businesses. And I do think that's kind of where the similarity ends. I think, you look at that 300 billion in revenue coming up. That's a big number. The problem is a lot of it is OpenAI, and there's no real clear path to OpenAI being able to afford that booked revenue, being able to afford that promised revenue to pay out. And then on the other side, it's sort of a conglomeration of mystery customers that they're implying are kind of those really big tech names, but we don't know for sure. And a lot of these big tech names actually have the infrastructure to do this in-house. So the question is, in 2030, are they really going to be outsourcing all of this? So I just don't see the same parallels.
Sarah, I think you're being a bit nice. If you don't mind, I'm going to read from the notes that you sent us. According to these notes, you say that $300 billion in revenue is kind of like that person that has the girlfriend or boyfriend that goes to another school and you just don't know them, but they really exist. So it sounds like you're a bit skeptical in their ability to really collect those revenues.
I think that they've had those conversations. I think the question is it actually going to happen some years from now? Because you have a business where, yes, if the big tech names need that overflow for data centers, they certainly will go with Oracle. But they don't have to, and they might not need it. One big thing that scares me in this is that we are not yet at a point where a lot of companies are making a lot of revenue from AI, and we're starting to hear this on the street. We're starting to hear frustration of, okay, great, but when are people actually going to be bringing in a lot of revenue? And so I just don't know how real it is right now, how accurately anyone can sort of forecast what their AI data center spend is going to be in 2030.
All right. That's actually a fair point. I want to go back to the first question I asked you. What about the moat? Does Oracle have any type of moat? Does it have something that gives it an advantage over the other hyperscalers that it directly competes with, even though it gets business from them, or some other way to grow these revenues through a very unique service or offering?
I think one of their moats, and this is becoming more and more common on the street, although it feels a little ephemeral, is the relationship with Washington, D.C., is the relationship with the White House. We see that increasingly playing a big role in these AI hyperscalers. We certainly saw that with Intel, which may or may not become a hyperscaler. And so, Larry spent a lot of time and money in D.C. And so I think that we might see some payoff there, but at the same time, I don't think that that means that they're doing something so uniquely different from a lot of their competitors. There are very few companies that have a unique offering in AI. I think Nvidia at this moment is one of them. I think that Taiwan Semiconductor is one of them, but I'm not sure that Oracle is.
Sarah, we got to make this quick. By the way, we're showing a banner. If you're just listening to the show, it says AI hype versus realized revenue. I got to go back to the RPO number, though. That was a very significant number, $455 billion, nearly a half a trillion dollars. That is contracted. I mean, there's a very good chance they're able to collect all that. I mean, isn't that a pretty strong sign of the path forward for this company? The fact that they have a lot of that contract, and they already told us a lot of that money. Admittedly, a lot of that money is coming from OpenAI, and I think you're skeptical about that. But some other companies like AMD, that's some of the other companies they're counting on.
Yeah, exactly. And look, these are real contracts with real companies. But if the companies don't need it, they're not going to use it. There's going to be sort of get out clauses in these contracts. So I don't think that it's 100% set in stone. It is not realized revenue, and I think the market's reacting as though it is currently personally sitting on Larry Ellison's island, and it's just not there yet.